good morning, or afternoon, or whatever it is. I don't need to explain what's going on right now, you all know, and currently I am on lockdown in the UK. A lot of us are trying to find ways to entertain ourselves during this time, and this is a great time, being a creative, to do creative things that aren't necessarily fueled by finances. Now I'm wanting to go back to my roots, which is stop motion animation, specifically with Lego. Now, if you're tuning in from my other channel, my name on my Lego kind of community name is Seminitoga. I made that name years ago and I'm just kind of sticking with it. I'm now doing things as Phase Drive Media, and this is as Phase Drive Film, but I'm still uploading any Lego stuff to the Seminitoga channel. And actually, as a side note, I just wanted to say a big thank you to the 4 Monkeys and all the judges of the Bricklayers Guild Animation Festival for 2019. Pitch Part 1 got Best Sound, which is fantastic. I'm so thrilled, so thank you guys, and obviously Kim and Dave and the rest of the 4 Monkeys for putting that one on, so that's fantastic. So, yeah, what we're doing today? Well, I have been scripting. I've been scripting Pitch Part 2 with the help of my good friend Gareth, also known as Spuggers Do, or I think GP Film now he goes by. I do apologise. I don't know how you want to be identified, but you should know Gareth, obviously through Squad 42 videos and his excellent CGI. So this is, if you didn't know about Pitch, it's an idea that Gareth and I had 4-5 years ago now, and in October time, actually end of September I think I filmed it, but in October time I released the first stop motion video I've done in 4+ years, and it was the first part of that animation. So, and I decided I wanted to do more, and this seems like the perfect time to do it. Gareth and I have been working on designs for the sort of external shots for the CGI of the pitch. There's the little bridge there, so this is the first sort of basic render, and then obviously with all the interesting lighting. So if you don't really know what's going on in the story, basically they have gone somewhere which is far away from any kind of galaxy or anything, and I don't really want to explain too much about what's going on because we want the story to unfold. I'm not really saying much about the ideas behind it and where we're going to take the story, but yes, they are somewhere basically where you can't see any stars. It is complete pitch blackness, hence the name Pitch. So I have now extended the set because it calls for, you can see him here, this character here to show up, and they actually have to go out the door before I have to break down the set and move on to the next bit. So yes, that's what's next up. I don't know if I'm going to get much animating done today, but I feel good that I've adjusted the set to suit the plan for the next part. The one annoying thing is I have a giant screen, black screen I was going to put behind there, but it's too big, so I'm going to have to find some other means of making the background black without using green screen, which is fine, I can work something out. Okay, and that is all done. The set is all built. The character is more or less in his starting position. I've got the lights working, including a little bit of a bounce there, because if I turn the lights off you can see what it's actually going to look like. That's kind of how it's actually set up. Just need just enough light to illuminate everything. Really the only source of light is supposed to be this, but it was just too dark, so I have just bounced that on low level onto the set. We are pretty much good to go. So yeah, I'm going to go and get a few other things done first, go and do my shopping for lunch and what have you, and then hopefully make a start animating. So you join me partway through animating the very first part of this, well, part 2. I've done only about sort of 8 or so seconds of animation, and now I've just set up this contraption to try and get a dolly shot going towards our main protagonist here. Yeah, it's proving interesting to animate all this. Also, as a side note, because the animation desk was a lot less stable than I remembered, I have actually secured 2 light stands underneath here, so it's a lot less wobbly. Yeah, so that's how that looks. You join me a few days later since the last video I did. Had a few other things to do, just also needed a bit of time to kind of chill, because for the most part things are okay, but obviously, you know, lockdown, that's kind of a weird time. Anyway, about 3 days later. Well, 3 days since I last did it, did any animation. I've now recorded my voiceover. I've recorded a temporary one for the Android character, just so I know when to record. You know what time, how much time to animate, and I can always animate a bit more than I need to, and then cut it down. I'm just about to animate now. Just do all the dialogue scenes that are in this bridge command bit here. I should be able to get that all done now because it's all dialogue. It's super quick animation, to be honest. Yeah, I've meant to try and do time lapses, and every time I try and do it, the camera fails, and I don't know why. So I'm gonna try and do it again, but I fully expect it won't work. So we'll see. If you suddenly see a time lapse, you'll know it worked. If you do not, then you know it didn't work. Just finished shooting another scene. Once again, I'm utilising these old 80s light-up Lego bricks, which still work. They're basically my main source of lighting. This is literally just a bounce fill, just so I've got something, and also again set to about 5,000, so I can colour balance to it. Fairly simplistic set here. Using the Christmas lights, of course. Having to make sure I get the shutter speed right, because I don't think these are LED, I think they're something else, and they're horribly flickery if you get the shutter speed too high. And yeah, there's not much more to say about that. It's just a simple kind of running down the corridor kind of scene. Another 20 seconds done, and I'm about to do the last set. So I've already murdered this poor man, and got some plasticine, and it's going to look pretty damn gruesome, I would say. Done. I actually finished it about a couple of hours ago, but I've got to film, so yes, finished all that. Plenty of blood on the set. The Christmas lights work great, as did the old light up Lego bricks, and yeah, that's all done. It didn't turn out as long as I expected. I thought it was going to be like 2.5 minutes, but that's often the way with animation. GH5 done great. I've used this old tripod this time, which actually worked really well because I had a weight bag on it, and it meant I could get some really good dolly shots up and down and pan shots. And one thing I wish I'd done is done some Dutch angles. Part 3, I reckon. The only thing that doesn't work so well is the tilt, but that's why I've got the other tripods. Yeah, that all worked pretty well. Got to tidy all that up, and then it's on to editing. I had a few issues with dog hairs getting into everything, so I had to use the spot heal tool because the contact aware fill on After Effects wasn't working because animation, I don't know. So I've had to do a bit of that, and then I had issue with colour space on Photoshop, so I had to save these Photoshop documents rather than JPEGs. It was a whole nightmare. So anyway, I've done all that now, put it all together, done basic colour grade, and tried to make it look as much like the last part as I did. And now I'm on to the sound editing, which sometimes I really enjoy, sometimes I don't. This time I am really enjoying it. The good thing is that I've got a lot of sound effects from the previous film, which I can carry over, so I don't have to spend... The worst part is finding the sound effects. Once you've got them, putting them in is not too bad, but the first part of finding sound effects and getting those sounds and that kind of style is really difficult. Because this is essentially a full film just made in parts, it's saved me a lot of time. So this is actually going a lot quicker. I've already got the atmosphere track in, I've got the dialogue tracks in now. I'm just waiting for Gareth to send me his, let's face it, far better lines. At the moment I'm doing the lines of the android and the captain. and it's just basically me talking to myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Gareth slides in. I'm just keen to kind of keep working on it. I've got a few more parts planned. Whether I'll finish them, I never promise now with Lego stuff, because it's so time consuming. You really have to set aside the time. So I don't know how much more I intend to do more, but whether I will, I don't know. But it's just good to kind of continue the story and work with some good friends. Okay, so this is my editing setup. Obviously I'm on Adobe Premiere. I'm not going to do any kind of screen recording. This is just supposed to be like a kind of production vlog rather than the full-on sort of polished behind the scenes. So I basically import all the images into Premiere. I then select each shot one at a time of all the frames, and then actually just physically change the length of them. If the timeline is a 30 frames a second timeline, I set the frame, the speed duration to 2 frames. I import the image stream into the timeline, and then what I do is I separate them into shots, and then so I'll bring a load of photo stream. If I bring sort of these ones in here, I'll bring the photo stream into here, and then I will select each shot and then nest the clip, and then you've basically got almost a video clip in its own right that you can then I've listed as shots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of thing. At the moment, also, as you can see, I've got the ambient track. Got some dialogue in there, got some sound effects. I'm about to do footsteps, which is my least favourite thing. I hate doing footsteps, but it's a necessary thing. Utilising the warp stabilizer. Now, I'd definitely recommend, if you're going to be using the warp stabilizer, set it to 15 or 12.5 or whatever. Don't set it to 24 or 30 and then double frames, because then it's really obvious that you've used it. So this is what the shot did look like before I included any kind of stabilisation. And then when you import again, and this is graded by the way, when you import it with the stabilisation done, look, it looks so much better. And all I've done on that one is I haven't used the subspace warp, I've just used position, scale and rotation, and that seemed to do the trick. You can kind of see it there, so that's how wobbly it was, and then that's how it looks now. Okay, it's now 10 PM. I've done almost all the sound editing now, and I'll show you the project in a second. Let me just turn this on. There we go. So I've done, most of the sound. It's looking really good. I just am waiting on Neil now to do. It's not really. It is a score, but it's not like a musical score. It's kind of like an atmospheric soundscape almost. But I'm just going to call it a score. So Neil's going to be doing that. Looking forward to hearing that. And then me and Gareth have also been talking about the end shot, which I'm really excited about. Obviously, you'll have seen it by now. So here is a single frame from it, and then Gareth sent me this previs, I guess you could call it, and that's what it looks like at the moment. And you'll basically see the full rendered version, and it's exactly what I envisioned as far as the motion of things goes. So that's really exciting. So I'm really excited to put that in there. At the moment, I've just got a placeholder, which is this image which he sent me, which I've just kind of keyed at the moment, just so I've got something. But yeah, this is the full project. Look at that, all that. Took a little bit of time trying to get the footsteps right, and then also trying to get some good monster sounds. I tell you what, the low pass filter and reverb, like this thing right here. So this is what this sounded like before it had anything on it. So it did sound pretty good. What I've done as well is I panned it all the way hard left to hard right, which is to kind of give it like the kind of it's everywhere kind of thing. And then if I just switch on these two, I don't know if it'll come through that well, but you can kind of hear it now if I play it back. I don't know if that comes through very well, but yeah, it gives it kind of like it's somewhere on the ship, but you don't know where. And that's the whole kind of idea of whatever thing is on board pitch, the ship, that's what it's called. You don't know. And I've spent quite a while just getting a atmospheric soundscape going. And then the other thing I've done, which I will not be showing you just because I still want some element of surprise, is I've cut this together with part 1, and it cuts together really well. Just a few little tweaks that I'll need to do, but it looks pretty good. And I don't know what I'm going to do I want to do, if I get around to it, I don't want to promise it. If I do it, I want to do probably around 5 parts in total. I've got a rough kind of end game. I've I've got a rough kind of end game in mind, and hopefully it will come to fruition. But I think what I might do is, when it comes to putting the full thing together, and this all depends on how long the lockdown lasts. Actually, in this instance, the longer I don't have to do other things, the better, just to get it done. But I may add a couple of little shots and scenes here and there that maybe you didn't see, just to make it more worthwhile. So yes, that's what's going on, and I guess I will cut to when it's all done and releasing.